If you've driven down the south end of the Las Vegas Strip in the last few years, you've probably noticed something interesting about Excalibur. It still looks like a medieval castle, the turrets still shine in bright colors, and the huge facade still calls back to the themed resort era that defined 90s Vegas. But the closer you get, the more you realize how old the illusion has become. The paint is fading, the lights don't shine as boldly as they used to, and the entire property feels like it's stuck in a time capsule from 1990. And the biggest problem is this: the Excalibur model of Vegas just doesn't work anymore. Behind the castle walls is a resort that has entered its final countdown, not because it's already shutting down, but because MGM knows this property cannot survive without massive reinvestment. And right now, that investment is not coming. Excalibur opened in 1990, and at the time, it wasn't just a new casino, it was a sensation. Families drove across the country just to see it. Kids loved it, parents loved it, and it became the most profitable thing in Las Vegas for years. Rooms were cheap, attractions were wild, and the entire place was built around a theme that felt like a movie set. Vegas was in a competition back then to build fantasy worlds. Luxor had a pyramid, New York had a skyline, MGM Grand had a lion statue bigger than most houses. The fantasy era made Vegas fun for everyone, but the industry has changed. Corporate Vegas now wants sleek luxury towers, minimalist interiors, and premium entertainment that attracts wealthy spenders. A castle full of discount rooms and family tourists doesn't fit that financial plan. The guests that Excalibur used to pull in, the road trip families, the casual gamblers, the young couples looking for fun on a budget, aren't the demographic MGM wants to build the future around. That doesn't mean Excalibur is empty. It still fills rooms on weekends because it's one of the few strip properties left where regular tourists can afford a stay without checking their credit score first. But being profitable isn't enough anymore. The problem is how Excalibur makes money. Cheap rooms and low-limit table games do not move the needle for a corporation the size of MGM Resorts International. MGM wants to maximize their land. They want average room rates well above $200, not $79. They want luxury retail, Michelin star restaurants, VIP table games, and convention dollars. Excalibur can't deliver any of that in its current form. The building itself is another issue. When you hit 34 years old in the desert, architecture ages harshly. HVAC systems become expensive to maintain. Outdated plumbing demands constant repair. Elevators need modernization. Electrical systems weren't designed to support today's tech-heavy guest experience. And the themed exterior, which includes complex decorative structures, costs significantly more to maintain than a modern glass tower. Every decision MGM makes about the resort comes down to a basic math problem. Does it make more sense to repair a fading castle from 1990? Or eventually replace it with a new modern development engineered to generate far higher revenue? MGM isn't exactly hiding their strategy either. Over the last decade, every theme resort they own has been systematically toned down or replaced with generic luxury concepts. The pirate battle at Treasure Island? Gone. The Egyptian theme inside Luxor? Mostly removed. The lion habitat at MGM Grand? Eliminated. The long-term vision looks very clear. MGM will eventually erase the theme-based identity and shift toward high-end, Instagram-friendly resorts. In that future, Excalibur becomes the odd man out, a reminder of an era MGM is trying to bury. There are subtle hints of this future all around Excalibur already. The inside no longer embraces the medieval theme the way it once did. A lot of the theming has been stripped back to reduce maintenance costs. The arcade games that lured families are smaller and more generic. The dining lineup has become standard rather than theatrical. The resort has been operating like MGM is maintaining it just enough to keep occupancy high without spending $1 more than necessary. In casino operations, that's often the phase before a major redevelopment decision. The location of Excalibur is a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it sits between New York, and Mandalay Bay, with direct access to T-Mobile Arena, one of the busiest venues on the Strip. That means foot traffic. That means value. But it also means that land is far too valuable to stay trapped under a family-friendly concept forever. MGM has already invested billions into the surrounding area, the Dolby Live Theater, the pro sports partnerships, the Arena District, and long-term planners see an opportunity for a full reimagining of the South Strip. When the time is right, they may decide that the castle's final chapter is simply making room for something bigger. Still, demolishing a casino on the Strip isn't a casual decision. It costs hundreds of millions to rebuild from scratch, plus the lost revenue during construction. MGM isn't eager to take that hit while the company is still financially recovering from the pandemic slowdown and dealing with major cybersecurity fallout from 2023. And right now, Excalibur remains a reliable cash machine because of its affordability. As long as tourists are priced out of newer properties, there will always be demand for the cheapest major hotel on the Strip. So for the moment, Excalibur survives out of necessity. It fills a gap MGM still needs. But survival isn't success. Guest reviews show the cracks literally and metaphorically. Rooms need renovation. The casino feels dated. The medieval theme doesn't land with younger visitors who didn't grow up with 90s Vegas. Many see it as a starter hotel. You book once, experience it once, and then graduate to something nicer if you ever return. MGM knows this, and it means loyalty doesn't grow here. You can fill a hotel every weekend and still be losing ground year after year. The most telling factor about Excalibur's future may be what's happening next door. Newer developments like Allegiant Stadium and the MSG Sphere have shifted visitor patterns away from low-value tourist habits and toward premium entertainment spending. When a city leans this hard into attracting global high rollers, something eventually gives. The Strip no longer sees family tourists as a priority, and Excalibur is the last surviving monument to a model Vegas no longer wants. There's also a branding problem MGM cannot ignore. They want all their Strip properties to feel connected, part of the same upscale ecosystem. Bellagio, Aria, Vidara, MGM Grand all play a role in that high-end corporate identity. Then there's Excalibur, the medieval oddball that doesn't match anything around it. As marketing teams shift their spending to properties that align with the luxury narrative, the castle sinks deeper into neglect. Not because the staff isn't trying, but because MGM's strategic vision doesn't include the era Excalibur represents. So here is the real situation. Excalibur is not about to be imploded tomorrow. It's not secretly sold. It's not actively being shut down. But every realistic sign points toward the same conclusion. Its countdown has already started. MGM is holding the property as a placeholder until market conditions and financing align for something bigger. And the moment they decide to cash in, no amount of nostalgia is going to save the castle.